Hey guys, so in this video I am showing you how I created my salon scale dupe for free, which is great. So I'm doing the whole thing on Excel. I created it on my laptop, but I have the Excel app on my laptop as well as my phone, so I don't have to have my laptop with me. When I'm checking out clients, I can just manually enter everything in on my phone and it'll tell me exactly what I am using on each client. So basically, to get everything started, what you will need is when you're in the salon actually doing clients, you want to make sure that you have a scale or like a measuring cup. I prefer the scale. I feel like it's easier. Mine is from Fermar and it does ounces, grams, and milliliters. I measure everything by ounces, but if you measure using one of the other, measuring units, then you would just basically everything that I am doing in my conversions, you will just convert a little differently based on ounces. So for example, with everything, you want to make sure that when you're making your like master spreadsheet chart, that you know exactly how, also excuse my nails, they need to be redone, but you want to make sure that you have like your products right in front of you so you can see how many ounces are in each container. So like for example, when I'm going through and doing like my order, I'm gonna look at like it's gold dirty, but I'll pull out my gold wheel color ounce and I'll be like, okay, this is 2.1 ounces, this cost me X amount of money. So I would say it'll be easiest for you to create this while you're in the salon, so you can just look at everything and just make sure that you're getting everything correctly. But let me show you how I created my Excel spreadsheet, and let me know if you have any questions. This is going to be awesome because you can do it for ounces. You can do it like per individual thing. So for example, with foils, I have each foil down to like per price per foil. So if I use 53 foils, I could enter that number in and it would tell me exactly how much to charge for that. Also, like things like tape and hair extensions, like how much you use like per individual tape, you can do that too. So I'll show you how I do that through here. Let me know if you have any questions at all, but I hope this helped. I personally had really wanted to do salon scale, but I really couldn't justify spending $30 a month to do that when I could just create it myself on Excel. So it's a little complicated to begin with, but it's honestly super easy. So I hope you guys enjoy this and use this to your advantage, but let me know if you have any questions down below. But I hope this really helps you. Let's get into it. Okay, so first I'm going in and I am keeping track of every single type of color, developer, lightener, everything like that I use. Then I'm going in and saying, okay, in my Redken Shades EQ bottle, it costs me this much money and it has this many ounces or quantities with it. And so then I'm going in and in my third column, I'm doing like the price per ounce. So first off, you want to create your like master sheets that have everything that you need in them. Then you're going to be creating your calculating sheet that is going to have everything also listed in it. The reason why you need to have a master sheet as well as your calculating sheet is because if anytime the prices shift or the ounces shift or anything like that, or you are going to be adding something new, you can just add it to these different charts, and so then everything can just be nice and consistent throughout your calculating sheet. So once again, this is going to look different for everybody, so just go through, write down everything that you use, even if it's not something that you pull from all the time. Like for example, I don't use Pull Bright super often, but I do have it listed just so I don't have to do any of the math later on. So with Redken Shades EQ, you will be formulating each individual like column to have its own individual formula. And so to keep this formula like the same all the time, so then you don't have to keep doing it every time you need to do something new, is so, and I'll show on this one. So I'm going to click my tab, and then I'm going to go onto my space where I enter things in. I'm going to click enter. I'm going to go to that section that has that specific thing in it. I'm going to click on price per ounce, and so that will select the column number D in the row 19. Then I will times it by 0. The reason I'm timesing it by 0 is because I want it to just be a constant, consistent formula. Then I drag that formula all the way down, so then every column, if I enter this in client 2 or 7, if I enter in the same amount, like the same number, it is going to like give me the same result. That way, each time when I'm going in and entering, I used 0.75 ounces, I don't need to go and get these formulas reset. So here I'm showing it again. I'm going in, I'm clicking equals, then I'm going to Goldwell, and I'm clicking my price per ounce. Timesing it by 0, clicking enter. And that'll automatically place that formula in there for me. So equals, go to my Goldwell tab again, go to my 10 volume, click on price per ounce, and then times it by 0. And what I'm doing to keep this like consistent too is I am clicking the alternate F4, and what that is going to do is it is going to make it like a constant, I don't know, it's going to make it a constant formula in there, so I don't have to consistently change it. So you'll see when I enter in this one that I'll click my price per ounce, then I'll click alternate F4, times it by 0, it'll enter that in there. And sometimes it'll show up as just numbers, but that's because your cell is a little too small, so you just have to like double click the edges and it'll make it the size that it should be. So it's a little time consuming during this process, but you want to make sure that you're entering everything in correctly. So this is a pretty big spreadsheet, but this is honestly going to be the easiest for you to keep track of later. So you can have everything from like your price per pump of shampoo, or like price of per color, per foil, that whole shebang. So you can be as specific with this as you want to be, but you want to make sure that you're just having all the things that you will be needing in the future. So I recommend being in the salon when you are creating at least your master spreadsheet, just so you know exactly what you're using and you can look at the correct ounces and everything like that. But I did pull from my Cosmoprof and my Salon Centric app a lot just to make sure that I was getting like the correct prices for things, and because you want to be as specific as you possibly can with this. So when I was creating each of my little master spreadsheets, like for example, let's say Redken Shades EQ, because that was my very first one that I had. With Shades EQ, I knew that, okay, it is, well, technically they have two different types of Shades EQ. There's Shades EQ normal and there's Shades EQ with bonder inside. I priced everything as bonder inside because I tend to grab that as much as I can. So that one is about $7.54 per 2 ounces. So then in my third cell, the price per ounce, in my formula section up at the top, I will click equals. I will click on my overall price. Then I will divide by, and I'll click on my ounces number, and then I'll click equals, and that will automatically do it for me. So if there was 2.1 ounces, it will do the math for me. You don't have to actually go in and edit all of that. So this is a little tedious, but I promise it will be so worth it, because when you're going in and you will be entering, okay, I used 4.8 ounces of Shades EQ, I used 4.8 ounces of the processing solution. What I will simply do is, instead of where I put the 0 at the very end of my formula, I will times that by how many ounces I used. And then that will automatically save it into my total number of how much I use, if that makes sense. So I can enter in as much as I want, but you want to make sure that you are not deleting your whole formula if you're like, I don't know, changing the total or whatever, changing the amount that you used. And when you're ready to like just zero out everything, you need to go in and manually enter everything like times 0, and that'll just zero it all out. But this is a little different than Salon Scale. Obviously, this is my cheater version. With actual normal Salon Scale, you would be able to enter like, okay, I used 1 ounce of Redken Shades EQ 9P. I used a 1/2 ounce of 9N. You can enter all that in. You can save it to that client's specific formula, and it'll save all of that kind of stuff. So that is really nice. This I've created just specifically for the math portion. The reason I don't personally feel like it was necessary for me to have everybody's formulas saved is because I feel like most of the time when people come in, they need something different every time. And so like I always shift their gloss up a little bit, but if it's something that I know it's tried, it's true, it's something that I like, I just keep that in the notes section on my appointments app, and that makes things really nice and easy. But you can see right now I'm going in and I'm removing my 0, and I am timesing by how much of that I use. And I click enter and it automatically creates that number for me. So then I know exactly what I need to be charging for what I'm using. So this takes the guesswork out of it, especially if you were someone like me that I used to say like, oh, I charge X amount per extra bowl, but I didn't really have a necessary like amount of 1 bowl equals 2 ounces. It was like a bowl is just a very relative term. It's a bowl. So this just takes all the guesswork out of it because it'll just have your total right there in the corner. So you know when you're done with your client, you know exactly how much you need to charge them. So, and the reason I only did clients like 1 through 8 is because I didn't want to have so many things going on that I was really like confused on where I was. And so I only did 8 because that's typically like the maximum that I do in a day. So, and I wanted something that I didn't have to keep like scrolling to the very end, or something that I was just like having to keep up on this every single day and have like a million columns and rows by the end of the year. So I just did 8, so that way I can just zero it out at the end of the day, make it super nice and easy. Once again, like with foils, for example, foils are set up as quantity versus ounces. So I can say I entered in 82 foils and it'll tell me that spent $2.36. So this is super easy. Once again, create all of your master spreadsheets, and you can have this really as specific as you want it to be, but just make sure you have everything written down. Like for example, I had the extension tape for tape ins. You could do your beads, although I don't really feel like that would be super necessary since those are literally insanely cheap and that would cost you like 0.13 cents for 1 row of beads. So, but you can be as specific with this as you really want to be. So if you've wondered why this looks different, it's because I'm using it on my phone. So I set the entire thing up on my laptop, and then I also have the Excel app on my phone, and I just have things synced together. So that way I can just bring my phone and not have to worry about lugging around my laptop everywhere. So I hope that this video helped you guys. And I know this is a little bit of a dupe. It doesn't have all the features that Salon Scale has, but I hope that you found this helpful and useful and that you will try this out for yourself. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments what else you would like to see. But thank you so much. I will see you in the next video.